We rise and unite, fueling the passion, igniting the light. Through highs and lows, we'll stand as one. A legacy, a tale that's
What's happening, everybody? Sorry about being a little late, man. I literally just got back. I got a carload full of Honolulu Blue Cream Soda, though. Which I'm not drinking it. It's way better than this orange pop. Spilled all over myself, too. Wonderful. I'm a mess, man. My eyes are killing me. But I hope I got all my notes in line, which I doubt they are. We're still gonna get through it. We're gonna have a good show. We're gonna talk about what we saw in training camp today. It was another good day for the Detroit Lions. I didn't get to see a ton of defense. Unfortunately, they were on the other side of the field. I got some looks at them. I literally laid the binoculars on the second set of stairs, and I forgot them at, of course, 5 o'clock this morning. Getting ready to go. Should have put them in the car last night. It is what it is, man. We're human. Welcome into Rockhound Detroit Lions. We're going to get into today's training camp joint 2 practice with the Dolphins. So day number 2. Did I just say joint 2 practice? Joint practice number 2 with the Miami Dolphins and the Detroit Lions. And I got a lot of notes here. I've tried to condense some. I tried to give you guys a little bit of play-by-play on Twitter, which it's kind of rough because I'm trying to do it without looking at my phone. Otherwise, they yell at you because I don't have a media credential. So I'm sitting up there in the middle with everybody. And some of them know me, some of them don't. I just try not to create waves. But anyway, it was a good day. Got Megan and her friend out with me today. So that was fun. Bringing them out, teaching them about some football. I had an interesting conversation on the way home. Megan's going to kill me for talking about this. Interesting conversation with Megan on the way home. So she's been listening to the shows for a while now, obviously. Used to listen to them like religiously, consistently all the time in the very beginning. And then, as things kind of wane on, she's got other better things to do than to listen to me run my mouth. And so we're talking on the way back. And I don't know what I said, but I said something about a very specific, position. She didn't know what that was. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what that is? Like, you don't know where the players... I thought you knew like which player was what player, where they line up, on the field, and at least that. So very interesting, fun conversation, which then led into me thinking, you know what, maybe I just need to develop some sort of a trivia game or have some sort of a segment. Now, 2 years ago when I first started this, almost 2 years ago, this October will be 2 years, I wanted to do Football 101, and which I need someone smarter than me, right? That can really dive deep into it. And I think that was one of the main comments that I had very early on when I started. I had people telling me, we do the high level overview stuff when I was by myself mostly. I did a lot of high level overview of football and then the layman's terms. So you kind of got both, right? I don't do as much of that anymore, and maybe I should. But when you have more guys on the show, you tend to kind of feed off of what everybody does, and during the off season it's different anyway because there's just not a ton of stuff going on. So next year, I promise we will get into it, especially in the off season. Now that we're in the season, there's just not going to be a whole lot of time for anything else. I've got other things that I've got to get done this year, and this is one of them. But I want to make sure that we pay attention to the things that are important too, and that's teaching football. And I'm not the best teacher, but we can try, and we'll bring some people in if we can to help us do that. So anyway, how many of you guys are at practice today? I'm glad that we got to send some tickets out last night. We made some little kids' dream come true by getting out to practice. I'm glad we got that message last night. That's what it's all about, man. That's what I said in my message back to this gentleman was, that's the whole journey, man. That's the whole journey about being a football fan, is family, right? That's the whole journey, is family and connections and rooting yourself in a team and all of the memories and everything that you get to carry with you. I know that's a big part of it for me. It's a huge part of it for me. I mean, that's some of the best memories that I have as, you know, as a little kid is going to football games with my grandfather, who was a huge piece of my life very early on in my life. And then my father. So it's a big part of it. And so when you get a chance to, you know, I have some free tickets to just send off to people, that doesn't hurt you, you know, just like preseason game. You got some tickets to send out to people. You know, I try to get it to people that have never been to a game. At least get them there. Get to Ford Field. You know, it's free. Go. You know, take the tickets and go. It's better than having an empty seat, right? So that's what we tried to do here. Let's focus on the positivity and get some other people involved. But enough about that. Let's do this. Let's talk about. Oh, thanks, Trace. I wish your mom was still around too, even though I didn't get a chance to meet her. If she was half as nice as you, then I'm sure she was a great lady. Lanner was there. Should have hunted me down, man. Would have loved to say hi. You're from New York, aren't you? Or aren't you in New York? Did I get that right? I think. I don't remember. Shout out from Florida. Mr. Detroit City's in the house. Let's keep up the great work, Will and Team Rock. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. I don't even know how many people we have in right now. Do we have a lot of people in? Do we have enough people in? We'll get there. We'll get there. All right, I'm gonna steamroll through this because I need a night. I might even take tomorrow morning off. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. I need a day of rest. I know Eric's gonna be off tomorrow anyway. He had surgery today, so wish you nothing but love, Eric, man. Hope you're doing well today, and hope that your surgery went well. I didn't really communicate with him a ton today. Probably should have, because he's probably on meds, right? See what kind of things you can get out of him. I had the blackmail text, right, for later. I'm just kidding. All right, Lions Dolphins joint practice highlights, and there's plenty. There was plenty in today's practice. Only really being able to see a majority of half of it. I was still able to pull down a ton. There's a couple of quotes today, one by Efetu Melifonwu that caught my eye. And it's because of what I said on Twitter, and then he backed it up after today's practice. And it's something that Eric and I have been talking about a lot, that we've been hoping that we were going to see this happen, you know, a year ago. And now we're finally seeing it. And my God, is it beautiful. It is beautiful to watch. We are going to have such an electric offense. It is not even funny. Let's start with the injury report. So Lions obviously navigating a lot of setbacks, testing the depth of this team already, bringing in a lot of guys off the street. Well, a lot of them from the UFL, I should say. Injuries are an inevitable part of the game. We know that. Last year was the biggest test I think any team has ever gone through. But the Lions aren't the only one, right? There's a lot of injuries around the league. And look, it's no exception to your play on the field. Like, it's next man up mentality in Detroit. And that's something that is carved, you know, into their brains. They know that at any moment their number's getting called and they got to play the game the way the guy ahead of them was playing the game. There can't be a let off in play. Kirby and Sam Laporta, they'll be back soon. Definitely by the regular season. I know that sounds traumatic, but it's not. I've heard anywhere from a few days to a week. At any rate, they'll be back before the regular season. That's all we care about, right? Now the Lions have faced a lot of setbacks during training camp. You know, in previous years, they're not new to this. They faced a lot of setbacks last year during the season. Again, they're not new to this. Still on injury list reported by Pride of Detroit earlier today. Miles Frazier, of course, on PUP. All these guys on PUP are NFI. Ali McNeil, Mekhi Wingo, Josh Paschal, Malcolm Rodriguez, and Khalil Dorsey. The word I heard on Josh Paschal is he is close. He is close to getting back. So that's good news. Not practicing today, Tim Patrick. I didn't see him anywhere. He wasn't there. Later reported that he wasn't there. Undisclosed reason as to why. A new addition to the team, Malik Taylor, wide receiver. He was also not practicing. And Sam Laporta, quote by Dan Campbell, Laporta will be down, nothing major, but he will miss a little bit of time here. We're pretty good, though, according to Dan Campbell today. Giovanni Manu, undisclosed injury, new addition to the roster. New addition to the injury report, excuse me. No clue what's going on with Manu. I don't like that because I really wanted to see him this weekend. He has been hustling and working his ass off to get to a great place on this roster, and he is there, and he's going to be somebody that we can keep our eyes on for growth, right? I think he's the number 2 or number 3 tackle behind, I think he's the number 3 or number 4 tackle behind our starters right now. And he's more so probably number 4. He's behind Skipper, I would say. He's getting close. A really good rest of this offseason if he can get back by next week. Or even, hey, if he can make an appearance in this week's game, great. But then again, I don't think the Lions really need to rush him at all. Keaton Sutherland has a knee injury. He was placed on IR. DiCaprio Buddha was placed on IR. We knew that before today. And then Tristan Colon has an elbow issue. So that's really it. Outside of that, Dominic Lovett returned today. Little comment here, though, before I get into Lovett. The Lions did place Boodle and Keaton Sutherland on IR, and they did sign 2 new players on the back of that, Alan George and Zach Johnson, to kind of help fill out that 90-man roster right now. Morris Norris, obviously we know what's going on with him. At least he's back. I've heard some statements where people think that his recovery has just been absolutely incredible. That's good news, right? Good to hear. Is their chat working? Because my chat's not working. Moving forward here. Dominic Lovett. Oh, boy. He gets back today, coming back from an abdominal issue. First play of 7-on-7s. Now they're down, red zone, probably, I think, 10-yard line work, I think is where they were. Lovett was hitting the flat with a pass. It was the first play, I think, of 7-on-7 anyway. The play was practically dead, okay? It was practically dead. The guys were still scuffling around a little bit, and the ball hits the turf. Oh, my God. Scotty Montgomery lit his ass up. All you could hear was, get his ass off the field. That's all I heard. Get him out of here. I'm like, oh, my God. And he's beelining right towards Lovett. And Lovett's looking at him. You could tell he's like, oh, shit. And then next thing you know, Dan Campbell pipes up and his head's on a swivel. He turns like this. Then he turns and he's starting to walk towards Dan. Scotty's coming at. He's going back and forth like, who am I supposed to look at? You're going to look at Dan. So he's looking at Dan. Dan's saying something to him. And then everybody kind of converged. Like both teams were kind of converging, changing, I guess, what they were going to do, for the next session there. And I couldn't see the end result. I couldn't see how it finished. Did Dan ream him out? I didn't know. Did Dan pat him on the butt? I don't know. Did Scotty pat him on the helmet? I don't know. But I do know this. That Dan Campbell has put an emphasis on keeping that damn football off the ground. Way too many turnovers this early in practice, or this early in camp, right? Well, midway through camp. There shouldn't be any more footballs on the ground. Thankfully, it's not happening with the starters, right? It's not happening with the quote-unquote stars, if you will. But the younger guys, the guys that were drafted or even undrafted, doesn't matter. You need to fall in line. You need to keep that damn football in your arms, right? Even when the play is dead, you don't let one of those guys come up from behind you and swat it. Hold that football. You own it, right? You own that football. That is your football. You bring that back to the huddle. You give it back to the ref. Nobody else touches it. It's that simple. It can't hit the ground. Play's done. It doesn't matter. I'm starting to lose my confidence in Lovett. Like, he's going to end up not making this roster. The kid can play. But if there's these small things about his game that aren't coming together right now, those are the things that are the most important that can't be overlooked. On a roster that is this deep and this good on the offense, you have to be perfect, especially as a 6th or a 7th round draft pick or UDFA. You must be perfect at everything that you do. So that's the update on Love It. Tom Kennedy was back in action today doing Tom Kennedy things. I didn't see a ton of balls go his way. But Pat O'Connor was also back battling a leg injury. Now, he was back after about 6 days off, maybe 5-6 days, something like that. He's obviously going to be much needed this season. At least I believe so, at least for the defensive line depth. He was a big reason why the Lions played so well the second half of last season. He was a huge reason for it. I mean, he was that calm demeanor and presence on the defensive line when everybody else was injured. Terrion Arnold was back today. He was going through maybe half the reps. Again, I didn't get to see all what they were doing on that side. But based on some reports and things that I read, he was getting about half the reps. He was on a pitch count today to kind of keep things under control, kind of watch how he is over the next. He definitely won't play this weekend, I wouldn't think. But get him back to full health before they start running him through the gauntlet of the practice. So I say all this, right, with the injury report and that to say this. Mr. Rob Lohman was closely monitoring the action today. And Mr. Lohman is the pro scouting director for the Detroit Lions. So he was in early parts of the drills taking a look at the Miami Dolphins players. So while they were going through all their team drills and that, he was out there getting a good look at some of these guys, which tells you what? The same thing that Brad always tells you. They're always looking. They're always looking for somebody. And if there's an opportunity with roster cuts coming up here pretty soon, that the Lions are going to add someone, that is possible. It's exactly what I said the other night. I've said it a few times this year, that Brad is going to find someone after 53 cuts. So the question is, are we going to have 53 or 52 on this roster when we get down to the last day? Is he going to leave a spot open? And if he doesn't, how is he going to manage that, right? How many guys are going to be on the reserve list, if you will, the PUP list? Bo Booth, man, I agree with you. He says concentration lapse is unacceptable for a Lions player, especially one trying to make a roster. It's a good point. Good point. Oh, my God, man. Today was just nice day, man. Nice day out there at Allen Park. My allergies just can't handle it. I'm so sick of allergies. 45 years old and you get allergies, the last couple of years of my life has just been crazy. I hate it. Interior pressure. Let me skip through all that. We'll come back to that. Now, joint practices today, it revealed a few things, right? You have strengths, concerns, kind of getting you a little bit of a preseason outlook, like, where are the Lions at the midpoint of preseason? It's a critical area for them to be ramping up in it's a critical time for them to be ramping up in certain areas of the offense, of the defensive, both schemes. They need to be way more ahead than they are behind right now. Now, the joint practice sessions with the Dolphins have really provided some invaluable insights for both coaches, for both teams, and obviously there's a lot of highlights here, whether it's the strengths of the team, where are we stronger, where are we weaker, what is the overall readiness of the team. And we're coming up to an NFL season. Week 1 is just a couple of weeks away. What do the Lions need to do? Where do they need to focus? They're still doing installs. But the main thing is, where do they need to focus? The one thing that I did notice on the sideline today in the beginning part of practice, the main focus, matter of fact, let me go to my notes. I got to have my notes on my phone open too. I forgot to pull these over. I got notes everywhere. The main focus, that I noticed this morning with the tight ends is an emphasis on blocking and pad level. So they're doing a lot of drills this morning where they've got this net and a bar out. I don't know what they call it, but you got one guy underneath the net, underneath the bar. He's in his stance, and when he comes up, right, to make contact with the tight end or receive or the DB on the other side or a linebacker, they're using tight ends. It's keeping those pads low, making contact in the right area, and then they push them back for 2 or 3 yards. They blow the whistle. A drop technique for the linebackers today, dropping into the zone and then breaking to the ball into coverage. Jack Campbell looked extremely fluid today. Like the Tin Man just got a bunch of oil in his hips. Jack's flying. He looks really good out there. Anzalone looks as fluid as he's always been, but Jack looked really good. But this drop technique that they were doing out there, it's nothing really new. And then they were also doing like kind of a shade and an under technique. Grant Stewart, I think, looked the best. He looked really fast and natural. Good break on the ball. And then I also noticed this, and I wrote this down. Anzalone can throw. The dude can throw the football. Like he was just tossing it back in, right, when they were done with the drill, and he was catching an interception. I mean, just a nice, effortless 20, 30-yard pass, right? Put that dude back there to make a play if he needs to. I'd rather see him back there than J-Mo throwing the football. Just kidding. Just kidding. More emphasis today on receiver work and the running backs on holding the football. So the gauntlet drill was kind of alive and well today, but they were doing it a little bit differently, where they were doing like almost like a weave, like a really tight weave, and then they were punching it out. Scotty or whomever, they were trying to punch the ball out with this big pad on a stick. It looks like a corn dog. It looks like a giant corn dog that's blue foam is what it looks like. And so they're trying to poke that ball out. So big emphasis on ball control, making sure that they're dropping into the zone with good technique, keeping their shoulders square, eyes on the football, obviously, tracking, a lot of that kind of work today, blocking, hand placement. So a lot of those early drills and those positional drills, they're done every day. They're just doing different stuff every day that's showing up on tape. So when they go back and look at practice from today and they look at it tonight, they're going to say, you know what? This didn't look good. This didn't look good. This looked great. We don't have to do this tomorrow. Let's focus on those two areas that don't look so good. It's kind of I'm assuming that's what they're doing, right? Because that's what I would do, and that's what we've kind of seen the Lions do over the course of time here, is focus on their deficiencies, which all teams do. They focus on their deficiencies. Overall, though, I think that, between today and yesterday, the Lions really flashed some brilliance at times offensively. Again, I didn't get to see the defense today as much as I would have liked to. But on both sides of the football, man, I think that there's some refinement that's needed. There's some small things that are always needed. But I think this team is really close. Like really, 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 really close. And the intensity, man, that competitive spirit that this Lions team has, that never goes away. This team is just so ready to compete. It's just oozing out of these guys. I mean, you can see it, how fired up they were. Beast9 says, Brian Branch said Jack Campbell is the most underrated player. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. You know what? Let him be underrated. Let everybody think that he can't do the job that he can do. There's a lot of Lions fans that say that. We see it all. I see it all the time in the chat. People say that Jack Campbell's not a good linebacker. That dude is a top 10 linebacker. I think that was that Marcus Newsome guy, which, by the way, let me clear the air on that. He got kicked out, I guess, the other day. He got shut down for comments or something. I don't know what happened, but must have been timed out. He was really pissed off about it. And then sent in a really nasty comment in one of the videos blaming me for his actions. I don't even know what happened, right? But whatever happened, that's not how you handle it. I didn't do anything to the guy, but he's gone now. He's gone now. I mean, I'm just not going to put up with that stuff. I'm just not. Everybody knows I'm an open book, man. You can disagree with me all you want. Like there's nothing wrong with that. I welcome it. I love it. I love people disagreeing with me. It helps us have good, fun debates. If I don't have anybody to disagree with or conversate with, then what's the point of doing it? right? I mean, I love to hear what everyone else has to say. That's the whole point of doing this thing. Yeah, see, there you go. Exactly what Trey said in there. And see, and I didn't see all that, but that's why I got good mods, man. I got people that you know, love the team, but more importantly, they're just good, strong people, and they're gonna treat you fair as long as you treat everybody else fair. That's the whole goal here, is just being fair. You know, no one's favored, right? It's just, let's have fun. So let's get into some of the offensive firepower today. I guess we'll kind of kick it right into gear because I saw a lot of offense today. Jared Goff and the offensive firepower was just, I mean, wow. Wow, did Jared Goff look good today? I mean, everybody on the offensive side looked good. If you didn't follow along with the X today with my my consistent updates, it was fun. I couldn't type as fast as I wanted to and as cleanly as I wanted to. So I'm sure there was a lot of mistakes, but it was fun watching these guys just, I mean, scoring like almost every play or every other play. Anyway, Lions offense orchestrated obviously by number 16, Jared Goff. This kind of emerged as a significant talking point from the first joint practice, but Goff's performance was exceptional today. Accuracy, decision-making, consistently placing the ball where only his receivers have an opportunity to catch it. Connection with key targets like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, effortless. I mean, just effortless. J-Mo and Jared have a connection now. Like we're hoping to see in year 1, but it's definitely there now in year 3. Like, it's there. These guys are on point with each other. You know, J-Mo's not in on every play. He's not a focal point. He's not the only go-to guy, and that's good because he can sneak up on you. You know, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown's been a little bit more of a focal point throughout training camp so far, but that's just because the guy doesn't screw up. He doesn't drop anything. He's always in the right place at the right time, and he's not getting all the coverage on every play. J-Mo was pulling a little bit of doubles today. So just effortless work by Jared Goff, and then finding Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery consistently in the pass game today. A lot of work today on the short pass game and making sure that he's finding Jahmyr Gibbs and David. I want to add one more note of the day, and that's what I said earlier to start the show. The thing that I said about Jahmyr Gibbs is right here. Oh, not right there. This one. So it's 5 hours ago. I said the first session update, Lions offense. Offensive line has looked solid so far. Not much for pressure on either Allen or Goff. Good holes working in the red zone. Crisp routes by the wide receivers. Number 14, Amon-Ra St. Brown, is business as usual. And then more routes by the running backs this season. Less tight end targets. Of course, the bad was no sign of Laporta due to injury. Lovett got chewed out for ball security, and Skipper lost a fight, which I'll talk about next. And then the Dolphins have to face our defense next, right? The key I want you to take out of this is the more routes by the running backs this season. Okay? The more routes by the running backs this season. Ifeatu Melifonwu after practice today. He said this, quote, I feel like they probably use Jahmyr Gibbs a little more, end quote. He says, but in terms of differences, not really. They've got the main guys that do things well. So those guys are going to do the things they do well. He was talking about, you know, kind of how practice was going, how it was like coming back to Ford Field or coming back to Allen Park, you know, where he spent the first few seasons of his career. And what he was saying there is really no different. You know, I've gone up against this offense. We've done live hitting drills. This is nothing I'm not used to. However, quote, I feel like they probably use Jahmyr Gibbs a little more, end quote. And he's spot on. And from a professional athlete saying that, that's a guy you can trust. You don't have to trust me in my eyes. You can trust what he's telling us because it's true. Jahmyr Gibbs is very active in this offense, and not even as a running back. You know who was a featured running back today for me? David Montgomery and Sione Baki. Both of those guys were getting a lot of touches today, and both of those guys did a lot with the football today. David Montgomery looks like a different human this year. He really does. He looks faster. He looks stronger. What a great pickup by Brad Holmes. This guy is going to help take us the distance this year. Next on the offense, we'll talk about this triple threat in the red zone. The first team offense went kind of on a heater today. I mean, they were live. They were hot. And during one of the red zone periods, they scored on 3 consecutive plays. If I wind back to my Twitter today, it went a little bit like this. Let me go back and find it. And then I'll talk about the skipper fight in just a moment. Where did I put it? Come on. Okay. So first team, second possession. First play was Gibbs to the right side for 5 yards. And then the second play was a wide open touchdown for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Third play was a pass to Monty out of the backfield in stride, and then he burned his way to the end zone, beating the linebacker for a touchdown. And then the fourth play of this drive, J-Mo slid across the middle of the end zone and jumps up for the TD. Jared Goff threw it high to the outside, and J-Mo just jumped. I mean, he was probably head level with that crossbar is what it looked like. But he just sailed across like 3 defenders, pulled the ball down. So 3 straight touchdowns, 3 out of 4 plays on that possession, all touchdowns. Just insane. 3 different players, 3 different plays, same result, 6 points. So that's what we're looking forward to this year. The Lions, you know, when we look back at what we did last season, it was, I mean, red zone dominance, right? Let's see. Jared Goff's passer rating 113.7, 25 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in the red zone. And today's execution showed exactly why we are still elite and will remain elite in the red zone. I have not heard Jared Goff throw 1 interception yet, and definitely in the joint practices, I didn't hear about it. I could be wrong, but I didn't see any. I didn't hear any today, and I don't think there were any yesterday. That doesn't mean that he hasn't thrown any to his own guys. That's more likely to happen, than to a different team that doesn't know what the heck we're doing or doesn't know where Jared likes to throw the ball consistently. So, U of M Dad says J-Mo is taking the next step. It seems he absolutely is. Maureen is saying, I think our whole team is on a mission. It's called Operation Unfinished Business. I love it. OUB. Operation Unfinished Business. And U of M Dad, man, I don't know who would want to fight Skipper like this. I've never seen something like this, and it was kind of wild the way that it happened. And you know what's weird? As I tried looking, I'm going to try to look again right now to see if anyone else wrote anything on it. I didn't see it. I mean, I saw the fight. I'm saying I didn't see a whole lot written about the Dan Skipper deal. Just do another search right now just to see if anyone has put anything up in the last hour or so. I don't see anything. Oh, here we go. Okay, according to this article, it says the things got chippy in the trenches. The Dan Skipper got into it with the Dolphins linebacker KJ Britt. Skipper blocked Britt into the ground and landed on top of him, staying on top of the defender and inciting a reaction from the veteran linebacker. The two sides were separated by several members of their teams, with the Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel jumping in to help separate the two teams. Yeah, that does not paint the picture. Okay, one, I didn't see the part where Skipper landed on top of him. I did not see that. What I saw was KJ Britt jump up on top of Skipper and literally fired 20 shots into Skipper's face mask. That's what I saw. He jumped on Skipper. Skipper's on the ground, and he's just unloading on Skipper. And then Skipper's ends up on his stomach. Then it gets broken up. So I have no idea if any of those shots landed through the face mask, but that's what happened. That's what happened. It was so wild. I've never seen, it was like an MMA finish is what it was. It was seriously an MMA finish. It was wild. And Skipper's a big dude. And it was probably totally unexpected. So if that play did happen where, Skipper blocked him into the ground, so be it. That happens. It's called the pancake. If he landed on top of him, it probably wasn't by purpose. If he didn't get up quickly, well, then maybe, yeah. But that doesn't mean that you should have a fight over it, right? That's football. That's part of it. Yeah, I hope KJ Britt's hands are all screwed up. I do. I really do. It was just disgusting action. But at the same time, I get it, man. Like, tensions are high, and things like this are gonna happen. I think that if Skipper, really wanted to do something about it, he probably could have. But they got separated, and it is what it is. But that was the whole Skipper mess, and hopefully everyone's okay outside of KJ Britt. What an ass. All right, where was I lost my spot. The triple threat, we did that. Oh, how about this? The power surge by Sione Vaki today. Like, this dude, wow. Vaki looks good. Like, he had some time off. He's been back for a couple of practices. He missed camp early, but his momentum is really ramping up quick. He is a second-year safety that has turned into a running back, right, since year one. He made his presence felt today, with two short yardage touchdown runs. He bulldozed through defenders with impressive, very, very impressive physicality today. He also broke off a long kickoff return during special teams drills. Now, one of the most impressive plays, I think I got something that is unplugged here. Hold on. Yep. One of the most impressive plays came when he bolted through the middle of the Dolphins defense. And he collided, which I thought it was KJ Britt, but he collided with the linebacker and a safety. And the crack, I mean, I'll tell you, I haven't heard a crack like this in a long time, but this crack echoed when their pads and helmet collided. It echoed. It was so loud when Vaki just slammed into him. Vaki was still standing tall. And he just kept motoring forward and then ran all the way, to the end zone, even though it was blown dead. Like, he wasn't going to stop. They blew it dead right after the big contact. Like, shortly after that, there's a little bit of a skirmish there. And, Vaki looks good. He looks strong. He looks powerful. That's why I've got him as my number 3. He's my number 3 on this team right now for running backs. Craig Reynolds looked good, too. Craig had his moments, but I think it was Vaki's day today. Now, per Tim Twentyman, during situational portion, both defenses had wins today. Both the first team offenses were put in a tough end of the game situation, given the ball on their 48-yard line with 59 seconds left on the clock, trailing 24-20 with one timeout in the fourth quarter. First up, the Lions, Jared Goff, and the offense went downfield. They were able to navigate down to the 19-yard line on completions to Shane Zielstra, 2, and then wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams. With 2 seconds left on the clock, St. Brown's 20-yard catch was on a 3rd and 16 play, and then the final attempt to the end zone as time expired, fell incomplete to St. Brown. However, Miami's defense won the situation, right? They won. Here's what I noticed, though. That last pass play to St. Brown, the way that the ball was thrown, it like nicked St. Brown's fingers, but his arm was like just here. It wasn't outstretched. If St. Brown would have outstretched his arm, it's like he short-armed it. If he would have outstretched his arm, I think he would have caught that ball. I really do. I think he had that ball. I don't know why he pulled back, but he pulled back. For the Dolphins were shut out in 4 plays, 2 incompletions, and a short completion to running back Jalen Wright, set up a 4th and 7. And then Tua tried to hit the wide receiver Tariq Black for a first down to the left, but the safety, Mr. Brian Branch, made a terrific play on the football, forced an incompletion. Obviously, the Lions won the play. The Lions looked way more dominant from what I've heard in that situation. Way more dominant. The Lions just look like a totally different team. It seriously looks like we're playing a college team. That's what the Dolphins look like right now. They look like a college team. And this is just a joint practice, but it's meant to mirror an actual game, right? It's not the same because you've got, 200 guys standing on the field with you. It's not the same. But the play, the tempo, the play calling, everything else is pretty much the same. I doubt that the Lions are emptying the tank here. However, they did, to some degree. There was a moment there in practice where Jared Goff lines up out on the far right side as a wide receiver. He didn't do anything. He didn't try to block anyone. He didn't try to run. He didn't even really sell it. He didn't sell it at all. But that's neither here nor there. My eyes were super focused on Jared Goff. I didn't even see what happened on the play. I thought it was, I thought Monty handed it off to Jahmyr Gibbs, maybe. But either way, he's got one trick play in for the day, and that's something new. And please don't use that in a game. I don't want to see Jared Goff out wide trying to block somebody. Please don't do that. Let's not. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm a corner or a safety and I get a free run at a quarterback, yeah, I'm going at him. I'm taking all of those 5 yards and I'm putting that dude on his back. That's what I'm doing. Please don't do that. Let's not. Like that's 10,000 times worse than Jameson Williams trying to throw a pass. Let's not do that. Please. Offensive line, man, they look good. They look really good. Point of emphasis for the Lions, obviously, in recent seasons. It's really provided Jared Goff with the time that he needs, the protection that he needs, really allowing him to be able to survey the field, get through his get through the offense. I can't talk today. And then finally deliver an accurate throw. And that's what he's doing. So this unit so far this season, they really haven't left any doubt in my mind that we're going to be fine. They've been able to neutralize the Dolphins pass rush in pretty much every rep. It's been a big key factor for this offense. And, since 2021, honestly. And, hold on. Get some breaking news. What's this? I don't know what it is. Oh, no. I-75 crashed today. Somebody's dead. Anyway, Tate Ratledge getting into it today. Tate got into a scuffle today. Penei Sewell got into a scuffle today, but it was Tate that was getting all up in the Dolphins' face today. I don't know who it was. You really couldn't see. But that dude is massive, and he is not going to back down from anybody. Tate is huge. Like, when you look at him without pads on, he just looks like a really big country boy. That's what he looks like. No, the dude is massive, and he's mean, and he can play the game, and he's a leader. Tate is going to be a very special football player for this team in years to come. Barring injury, which I'm hoping he doesn't have to go through that I think this guy has everything that we need and more. Tate is going to be a special dude. This offense can run behind him. They can pass behind him. He's very mobile. He's very nimble on his feet. Just like we talk about Tyleik Williams being this dancing bear, like that Brad Holmes likes to talk about, Tate Ratledge is the same thing, man. He is the same thing. We'll give him the nickname of Tate the Turkey Leg, right? Turkey Leg Tate. That dude can move. He can definitely move. Defensive resilience today and areas for growth. That was my next topic. So while the offense garnered a lot of the attention today, the Lions defense showcased resilience and potential. Despite facing challenges against the Dolphins' quick passing game, Miami did find some success today. They did have a little bit of a better second day today. A lot of reports that emphasize that. Some of the things that I was able to see with my own eyes would say that too. Miami found success utilizing short, high percentage throws and bubble screens today. Bubble screens have been like our nemesis on defense. For whatever reason, bubble screens kill us, and it was killing us today. Vulnerabilities and coverage schemes, they were there. Like the linebackers still were not, they weren't picking it up. They weren't picking up the screens, and they're allowing way too many yards to happen before safety has to clean it up. Let's see here. The defensive line, though, they look good. Aiden Hutchinson looked good. Consistently applied pressure today. His speed obviously was on display. He disrupted the passing lanes, forced some hurried throws. But this defense is still not as cohesive as I think where we need it to be in coverage. Against the run, we're great. In coverage, there's a lot of room to grow. There's a lot of room to grow, and there's only a couple weeks to do it, but I think they'll be okay. We're also not working with Kirby or a full Terry and Arnold today. So that's part of it, right? When you're missing a couple of guys. However, if the Lions go down, with Kirby or BB or Terrian in the season, that can't be a problem for us. It just can't. It just can't. So we need to see better coverage out of these guys. As good as what I thought Jack Campbell was today during reps in the positional drills and how fluid he looks. Well, that's not live action, right? Now that has to transition into the game. And Jack Campbell was one of the best last year, one of the best linebackers in the game in coverage. Alex Anzalone was not. And Alex Anzalone was one of the players today that was not as cohesive in the coverage, but that's his game, right? That's not changed. Anzalone's good at flying to the sidelines. He's good at flying to the ball carrier, right? He's good at chasing guys down. His coverage skills have been lacking, and that's what they need to clean up. We'll see if it changes, but I'm not going to blame everything on Anzalone either. I'm not, because he's a great football player, and with things being a little bit hard to see over there, I can't see everything, right? I can't see who's out of position or who made a mistake. Now, the cornerback and the safety positions today, they're also under a little bit of scrutiny. I think injuries are a part of it. But there's some concerns here for the Lions, apparently, that while both the teams, while the Lions possess depth at all spots on the back end of the team, or the back end of the defense, the overall performance of today would be a little bit critical, right? We would be a little bit critical of their performance today. Dan Campbell noted in today's presser this morning that the coaching staff was focusing on improved communication, ensuring that the players were in optimal positions to make plays, reduction in missed assignments, and compared to previous seasons, that's a positive sign, right? That our focus is on that. And then he also said that they were doing that at a fairly high level yesterday. Today, a little bit different. Still good, not great. And then you have guys like Rock Ya-Sin who are filling in today. He's not a full-time safety, but he got some snaps in safety. And this is the second week of practice at the position. And he looks like he's the next man up with Avonte Maddox. So if something were to happen to Brian Branch or Kirby Joseph this fall, it's Rock Ya-Sin. You know, it could also be Avonte Maddox. I put Avonte Maddox up in my DB room for a reason. And I thought that he was going to be more of a DB, and now it looks like Rock Ya-Sin is probably more of the safety backup to start. But he took some first team reps today at safety, and he had a couple of mistakes. Let's see. Where's my quote on him? All right, here's this quote. Rock Ya-Sin said this. He said, quote, "There are 2 plays we did in practice in the red zone period I want back." He said that there was communication breakdowns that contributed to the mistakes that he made in the red zone in 7-on-7 periods at the start of practice. He got beat for touchdowns on both of those plays. So, of course, he wants them back. One was to Jalen Waddle. The other one was to Malik Washington. Now, the second of which came when he was a little bit late in passing off the crossing route, which that's also been a major issue for the Lions. We've seen that time and time again. We can probably go back and watch any tape from last season, and you'll see a hiccup or a hitch, whatever you want to call it, a mistake when we're passing off crossing routes, right? Whatever the DB is passing off to the safety, no one's picking it up, right? I would say that last year, where the hell's Kirby? Why is there a guy, just flying across the middle of the field and there's no one within 25 yards of him? What happened? That can't happen, right? It just can't happen. So when that happened today, you're going to get scored on, especially when you're working down in shorter fields. I'm going to give Rock Ya-Sin a pass because he's still new to the team. He's new to the scheme, and he's only been doing this now a couple of weeks with the first team here. So it's a learning experience, and that's exactly what Rock Ya-Sin said. Here's his next quote. He says, "It's a learning experience. It's fun, though. It's fun playing with BB and Kirby and all those guys, communicating with them. The challenge of it, it's fun. I have full confidence. He's a pro. He's a pro's pro. I think that Rock Ya-Sin's going to get himself up to snuff." However, Jack Campbell also said this on Rock Ya-Sin. He said, quote, "I have a lot of respect for Rock, what he does, who he is. He's just been a great addition, and him being able to transition to safety, I feel like that's going to help just him as a player and his career. And I feel like he's done a great job and a fantastic job making sure everyone's on the same page communicating." So there's hope there, right? And the guys see that. There's hope. So Rock Ya-Sin will be fine. Bees 9, you're talking about Malcolm Rodriguez. He's been out since last year, buddy. He's been out since last year. I think it was, wasn't it an ACL? Didn't he have ACL injury? Torn ACL. Yeah, ACL, right knee. He won't be back until September, October, I think. September, October, something like that. Yeah, Bo Booth, communication breakdown. It's always been the same. And that's critical. It's critical on the defense. You have to have those verbal and nonverbal cues. Verbal and nonverbal communication. It's, hey, you're doing this like Jared Goff always does, or if you're in the backfield and, you're throwing up the X or, cross routes. I'm picking up the cross. He's showing them. I'm picking up the cross. There's a lot of different things that they do back there, and it's not happening. This is what I said about Kirby, and I love Kirby. I think he's a wonderful football player. I think he's an even better human. The common denominator is usually the problem, right? Kirby is great at what he does, but if there's one thing that has been a common issue, it's we're leaving guys wide open on the crossers. We're leaving guys wide open when they need to hand off. If he is the last resort as a single high safety, or even in coverage 2, if you're running cover 2 and you're getting this half and BB's getting this half, you need to protect your half, right? If you're running single high safety, you're the last man there. And so if you're not picking up someone, it's all on you. Unfortunately, what you see sometimes is depending on the coverage, and I'm going to do some videos like I mentioned the other day. There's some really good videos that we're going to run through. This will be one of them. Sometimes I feel like it's a certain individual that's at fault, a certain player that's at fault, but because of the coverage that they're in, it wasn't really their fault. And wait till I show you the video, and I'll tell you what I mean. It's hard to explain without having something on screen to show you, but we'll listen to what somebody else has to say about it, and then I'll kind of give you my thoughts. You know what I'd like to do is I'm gonna reach out to all 22 today. I forgot to the other day. I want him to explain it because he can explain it way better than I'll ever be able to explain it. Penalties today, man, they're still a problem. Now, this last piece in here I had from David Burkett. Well, not the last piece. I still got 3-4 more sections here. A lot of notes. I told you guys, a lot of notes. David Burkett said this. He said the Lions did commit a few too many penalties on today. Tyson Russell, who's new to the team, flagged for pass interference on Tank Black in the red zone. And that was one play after DJ Reed drew an offensive pass interference penalty. So back to back. And then they committed another pass interference penalty in the first team period. So 3 pass interference penalties just between those two guys. Nick Whiteside, who has impressed since signing as a street free agent in July, had a defensive holding penalty in the first team period. And then Russell was also called for another defensive holding penalty late in practice. So look, I don't expect Russell to make the team. I don't even expect him to make the practice squad. I'm not even worried about it. Like, the guy's new to the squad. I'm really not worried about him. Nick Whiteside, however, I think I had him on my roster the other night, and he's looked pretty good. He's looked really good. Pre-snap penalties today. I didn't notice any. Are you talking off our offense or our defense, U of M, Dan? And then Wickster's question, do you think this is a win or your out year for McDaniel? Ooh, my McDaniel's on the hot. Look, he's on the hot seat. 100% he's on the hot seat. He's not. I don't think he's the coach that they thought he was. All right, so for our offense, pre-snap penalties, I didn't notice any today. We might have had one. Matter of fact, we might have had one. So the thing is I can't comment on the second team. I can't comment on that because I couldn't see it. While I'm watching the first team, because I had the first team in front of me today, the second team was on the other side. I couldn't watch 2 offenses at once, obviously. The first team offense looked fine. We might have had one, but then we also got one back. Jared Goff got the Dolphins defense to jump. And I think that was a 4th and 9. Might have been a 4th and 9 play, and we got them to jump off. So we kind of evened out, I guess. Oh, there we go. Lanner just said it. Goff got them to jump off sides on a 4th and 7. Yeah, we're on the same wavelength here. And then one illegal motion, I think. I couldn't see the second team either. I didn't see the illegal motion. I had a hard time hearing the refs. Like, obviously, they didn't have any mics or anything today, and I wasn't close enough to hear them talk. I was sitting, I don't know, maybe 35-yard line, about halfway up the stands today. We got there way early. All right, what do I got left? Quarterback competition for Hooker and Allen. Oh, Mr. Allen. You know, as good as that guy has played, he really shot himself in the foot today. He did not look good. He had a clear touchdown on the first play. Let me open up my notes. I'm not even going to try to remember. Let's see. He had a wide open Jackson Meeks, and he tossed the ball about 5 yards short into the dirt. It didn't even look like a pass. I don't know what he was doing. He like patted the ball, and then he patted and threw it at the same time he was patting it. That's what it looked like. It was pat, pat, and then he went to throw it, but it's almost like he went to pat it at the same time. Mental mistake. Didn't look fluid. Didn't look crisp. Didn't look sharp. Didn't look like a quarterback on that play. Dirted it. It was a wide open touchdown for Meeks. And then he came in again on the second possession, I believe. No. Second team, first possession, 7-on-7s. First team, first possession. Second team, first possession. So second team comes in again, first possession. First pass was in the dirt again, 6 yards short. Second play, he found Tesla in the front corner for a TD. And then the first team was back on the field. So again, 2 balls in the dirt. Could have been big plays. The only time I saw Hooker, like he was getting a ton of work today with quarterback coach. I mean, he was away from everybody, working on footwork, passing. I mean, everything. The same kind of stuff we saw the last practice. Now he was at the 10-yard line. He found Horton underneath for 5 yards. He looked a little bit quicker with his feet, a little bit faster in his reads and his working through his projections. And I want to say Scotty Montgomery and someone else like jumped to Hooker's amazement. I don't know. Maybe I'm saying that wrong. They praised Hendon Hooker after that first ball came out because of how good it looked. I mean, he got the ball and it was bang, bang, bang. He wasn't surveying the field forever, right? He wasn't inconsistent in his thoughts. It was bang, bang out, and it looked good. But that was about the extent of what I saw for Hendon Hooker. I didn't see a ton of him today, but definitely would look quicker, faster. He also delivered a low and away strike to Lovett today. Kind of missed. Missed him low, but Lovett still caught it. And that was that one where Lovett just got ripped apart by Scotty. All right, what's next? So the battle for the backup position between Hendon Hooker and Kyle Allen, it's been a key storyline. I think it's going to continue. I think that this game this weekend is going to be big for both of these guys. Hooker obviously possesses undeniable traits. I think he has really good talent. The problem is his psyche's off. His decision making is off. Allen, again, has demonstrated greater consistency in both practices and in the preseason games than Hendon Hooker. And today he looked flat, right? At least in the parts that I saw. His skills, though, effectively, will be on display in the upcoming games, and so will Hendon Hooker. And I think that this game is a big deciding factor for both of them for a few reasons. Here's what's going to happen. My opinion, whenever you go up against the same team 3 times in 1 week, you kind of know what the other team is going to do to a degree. You start to catch on to, the guys that you're going up against on the offensive line. You're starting to figure them out. The guys that you're going up against, offense, defense, for corners and receivers, you're starting to figure each other out. Whoever starts to win, whoever's processed that information faster is going to have the better game this weekend. As long as Hendon Hooker and Kyle Allen can take the best of this opportunity and deliver the ball faster and more in his calling plays to get the ball out quicker, then, the best man is going to win. What I think that Morton should do is give them the same exact play calls from the same exact areas on the field. You're at the 30-yard line, and Hooker ran this call on first down. Now it's Allen's turn. They get to the 30-yard line, and now it's his turn to run that same play. See what they're doing situationally with the same type of play in a game setting. That's a lot harder to get done than it is to say, but I would like to see these guys have some of the similar opportunities in a game situation. It's kind of hard to assess these guys when one guy comes in and hands the ball off 4 times and the other guy throws it 4 times, right? You've got to give them equal opportunity to see what, who's the better man at the end of the day. Hopefully that makes sense. Not all my words are working today. I'm exhausted. I'm on no sleep. Pass rush, though. Let's get into some defense. The little bit that I saw today, some of the reports that I also read would tell us this. The Lions did not come up in the stat sheet today. No turnovers. They did not catch any interceptions. They did not punch any balls out. Not good. Dan Campbell flagged this earlier in the week where he said that they were needing more juice, and the pass rush just kept generating havoc, though, right? That's what they've been doing. Plenty of plays that could have been, could have flipped possessions. Maybe if the whistles were live today, there could have been some opportunity, right? There could have been some opportunity for this defense to really wreak more havoc than they have been. Marcus Davenport was making some early noise in this matchup today. He brushed into Tua Tagovailoa on the second snap of team drills. Very rare contact for a quarterback in practice, but it happened. Then rookie Tyleik Williams, he also blew up a 3rd and short with a clean sack after Tua's first read was covered. So right there, I mean, those are the plays that we're looking for. A young rookie able to make a play on a guy that has some feet, right? Tua Tagovailoa he's not a slow quarterback. The dude can move. And Marcus Davenport, the guy that half the fan base hates, and he's making plays. Aiden Hutchinson also making plays today, mostly with pressure, right? And kind of creating havoc on that side of the defense, but no sacks. He wasn't getting to the quarterback, but Davenport did, and Tyleik did. And I say that to tell you this. Who cares who gets to the quarterback? As long as somebody is, right? Who cares who gets the stat? As long as somebody else is. That's the only thing that matters. And when you have 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that are all really good and they're all stacked on top of each other, someone's going to make a play. And that's where this defense is headed to. Is we're going to have guys in a rotation. All of them are going to be able to make plays. And I don't care who gets 10 sacks and who gets 4. I just care that we win the football game and we get an opportunity to play for that damn trophy. That's all I care about. I don't care about stats. And I don't think any of these guys care about stats either. Later in today's practice, Alex Anzalone came screaming off an edge 2 on a blindside blitz, and he buried the play in kind of a play it where it lies period. Now, the first team defense forced a quick 3 and out and then a 4 and out on back-to-back series. So defense looks good. They look good still. Pat O'Connor got in some action today. He also had a sack with the 2s, right? He was with the second team. Aiden Hutchinson was living in the backfield, right? Getting a lot of pressure. He had 2 near sacks where he beat his man clean, but the play wasn't blown dead. So Tua barely got the ball out. But the ball still got out. Now, Jack Campbell, so that's the Hutch rule, right? That's the Hutch rule. Now, he didn't get to Tua, but they didn't blow the play. They let the play happen. I'm going to say that the Hutch rule was live right there. Jack Campbell summed it up best when he said this after the practice. He said, quote, "We competed today. We started a little flat maybe, but we sure finished strong." So good stuff by Jack Campbell. Final thoughts. Rock's take is like what I call it. What's funny is, I started Rock's take in my articles in the Detroit Football Journal, which I am terrible at promoting, and I haven't been writing, but I'll get back to it. And now I'm seeing that pop up more. I'm seeing other people use it, and I love it. But you know why I love it? You know why the Rock's take, to me, that's my stamp. That's what I'm putting on it, right? And so when you see other people that are using it, like Mike's take, I'm glad that we get to hear what your opinion truly is. Now, a lot of what I said tonight, there's a lot of opinion and there's a lot of fact, and there's, things that I'm seeing with my own eyes, and there's things that we're reporting coming out of other reports. But when I get into the final take of the night, the final take of the day, it's what do I think about this team? How do I feel today was executed on both sides of the football? I think the Lions, number one, they've had consistent progress so far through the halfway point of preseason. I think that the team is exhibiting, encouraging signs of growth and the potential for more growth. I think that we have a very strong offensive line. I don't think we're missing anything right now on the offensive side of the football. I think the offense is going to be clicking day one. I really do. But when you start adding in the potential for a defensive line that we have this year, that could be one of the best ever in Lions history, that's my stamp. I said it last year coming out of the first loyalty practice, or maybe it wasn't the first loyalty practice. It might have been the second practice after the first loyalty practice, where I said that this is the best defense I've seen since 2014. I've doubled down on it this year, and I've gone even further. This is the best defense we're ever going to see in Lions history. We have it. We have it right now. And I don't care about the 50s and the 60s. No. Like the last 40 years, we're talking football, right? This is the best defense we're ever going to see. We have it. And as long as everybody can play their role, do their job, we're going to do it. I promise you that. Like, I see it. I see what Brad has built. And I see what Dan has coached. And I see all of the different elements that Dan has put together, with the coaches that we have, the players that we have, the other personnel. This team is like so far ahead of any other team that I've ever seen assembled this fast. It's pretty incredible to watch it all happen. The coaching staff is addressing all of the challenges. They're taking it all head on. They're fostering a competitive spirit on this team that I feel is unmatched. You hear it from players time and time again that have played and left in the last couple of seasons, and they've got nothing but great things to say about this team. They've got nothing but great things to say about Dan Campbell. Do I really care about these preseason games? No. Do I think that these preseason games are for the lesser known guys that are joining this team late and trying to get a shot? Yeah, that's what it's all about every year. Do I think some guys can learn from these games? Yes. Do I think they can get better from these games? Absolutely. Do I think that Ahmed Hassanin is going to be a nightmare this year? I do. And I think he's going to be because of the way that he goes about his business, the guys that he's training with, Marcus Davenport, Aiden Hutchinson, my goodness, Al-Quddin Muhammad. Like I said last night, Al-Quddin Muhammad looks incredible right now. He's having such a good camp. This is going to be the hardest cuts ever for Dan and Brad, because there's going to be some really good guys, which is what we said last year, but it's even harder this year. It's really hard to look at this roster and say, I have to cut you when you don't want to. And you don't want to because these guys are really good football players. This team wants it. It's a good team, man. It's a great team. I'm excited about it. And everything that I've seen so far is telling me that this team is different. You get those feelings during the season where things just feel different as a Lions player or as a Lions fan, where you're finally witnessing something that you've been waiting for your whole life. In 2023, I could tell you that I definitively had butterflies in my stomach walking into the stadium in that first playoff game against the Rams, and it's like I had this weird buzz of energy just kind of flying around me. It was I was frozen on my way in, but it was such an exciting time, right? That was the pinnacle for me, right? Obviously going to the NFC Championship game and having an opportunity to spend that time with Megan doing something like that after both of us, started to kick cancer's ass together, right? That was the first real trip that we've had to do something fun together. And we did that celebrating, our fandom of the Detroit Lions. That was the next pinnacle, right? That was the best one. But this year feels different just even getting started. It feels different. That's my take. I'm not going to give you the X's and the O's take tonight. I'm not. I'm just going to tell you from a fan's perspective to you, another fan, this is different. And so, yes, I'm going to celebrate my team in August because I have the vision with my own eyes of where this team has been and where they're going. I've seen it. I'm not going to drive a narrative, and say, let's not root for the Lions in August and the defense in August and wait till September and all that good stuff because you're losing an argument, right? Because I would be losing an argument that this defense is going to be trash because we didn't get an edge rusher. I'm going to tell you the truth. They look great. They look really good. This is going to be a fun year, y'all. I am so excited about it. And I was even more excited when I heard that Megan's new contract was middle of the week, and so she has like every football game off. Like that's going to be great. Good times, y'all. I'm glad y'all were able to join me tonight. Let's do a little Q&A at the end here, and I'll open up phone lines for just a few moments, and then I'm gonna skate. We'll do phone lines for the next 15 minutes. I'm out of here no later than 6:45. If you don't want to call in, that's fine. But everything that I've given you, if you were at practice and you got some things that you want to add today, by all means do it. Call in and tell us. I'm amped. I'm really amped up. No, it doesn't seem like it because I'm exhausted, but all right, phone lines are open. 313-312-0348, 313-312-0348. And let's do Q&A. So I probably missed questions in that during this whole thing. So if you have some questions now, we'll do it now. If there's anything that I missed, let's run through it. Now, obviously, everything, from today is with my own eyes. And I think that's the best way to do it, man. You guys got to get out to camp. That's why we were trying to give away tickets. Obviously, this is the last camp practice that I'm going to. I think Eric said he had tickets for the next practice. I don't know if I'm going to go to that or not. I don't know if that meant he was going to give me a ticket or not. But I'm probably not going to be able to go. I don't know. We'll see. Major Payne says, been a fan my whole life. He's 65 years old. This is by far the best I've ever seen our defense in the same year. Back-to-back years, too. Right? Back-to-back seasons. That we've got two really great defense starting the year. Let's throw some probability out there. And I hate even throwing the probability about injuries. I don't even like talking about it because I don't even want to breathe it into the air. Right? What's the likelihood of us really suffering that many injuries again? I would say it's next to nothing, right? I think that's the probability. We're suffering some injuries, but realistically, what we went through last year was insane. It just doesn't happen. Lanner 420 says, I think Tesla is taking Patrick's job sooner rather than later. I think it's done. And that's what I put on my roster, my 53 man. Did I just miss a call? This thing on? Shoot. It's on. That's what I put on my roster the other night, man. There it is. All right. Rockhound Detroit Lions. Who do I got on the line tonight?
What's up, man? It's Wick.
Wickster, what's happening, man? What's on your mind?
Chilling, man. I'm just really excited. I didn't even have to be there at the practice. I just had to watch the press conference afterwards. And I mean, it was extremely telling.
Now, did we have a press conference today? Did Dan address anybody today afterwards?
I don't know. I watched the Dolphins.
Oh, I didn't know the Dolphins had one today. I didn't get a chance to watch that.
Yeah, it's you might want to. It's kind of telling. I mean, you can just see it. That's all I can say. And I don't want to knock anybody because you know what? I feel like I felt the same back how many years, man. Just people going after the Lions coaches or the players or whatever for reasons that things are going wrong. And you can just see that, like, because we've been there before. And you can see it if you watch it. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing with the Dolphins.
At the same time, it's exciting, yeah. So I got one more thing, and I know this is kind of repetitive, but because Zadarius Smith, man, do you see a spot for him? If it happens, where does he fit, and who would be pushed out? Okay,
so do we even see a spot for Zadarius Smith right now? I said this the other day, and I think someone in the chat said that somebody else was talking about it before, which I never seen it. But when I said, how do we even know that Zadarius Smith played to the level that the Lions were hoping he was going to play? And how do we know, just because he came in and had 4 or 5 sacks for us in about 8 games, how do we know that he really played to the level that he was asked to play or expected to play? I think as a Lions fan, when you bring in a guy that's had 17 sacks in a season and multiple years where he's had a ton of sacks, that's exciting, right? For a certain type of fan, I think that cares about that more. And I feel like, okay, but that was the old Zadarius Smith. Now you're getting a guy that's, he's not what they call like a snap pour, right? He's not getting all the snaps in the game. He's on a heavy rotation, or a light rotation, I should say. And are you willing to pay that kind of money to put someone on a 50% or less rotation with all the guys that you have on this roster? Who could he really beat out? If Davenport and Al-Qadim Muhammad can rotate and have just the same success as if you had Zadarius Smith in there by himself with Ahmed Hassanin, I think that you'd rather have Al-Qadim Muhammad and Marcus Davenport in there with Ahmed Hassanin. 3 rather than 2. You have an extra body.
Oof.
So I think that's the tough part. Al-Qadim Muhammad. Go ahead.
You think Hassanin's got a better motor than Zadarius then?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Like Zadarius Smith is, he's a good player, but when you said the key word, man, motor, drive. And I'm not saying that Z doesn't have it.
That's a fair assessment. But I think there's one thing we are all forgetting, and that's who went out after Zadarius came here, who we lost. He was really all. He was really all we had. So teams were just defending him.
Say that again. Say that all over again. What do you mean?
All the people we lost after he joined the team. Because when he came in with Aleem McNeil and was rolling with him,
yeah,
that was pretty hot, bro.
Well,
for real.
He only had like 4 sacks, dude, or 5 sacks.
Right, but I'm just taking the context in who got injured after he came. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, so really there was just less and less people to really be worried about. It was more focused on him. If if he feels like,
that's a fair point. So that is a fair point. So yeah, if we did have him with, with Aiden Hutchinson, with Aiden healthy, yeah, it's totally different context. It's a totally different parallel. I do get that part of it 100%. But at the same time, now that shift is focus. His focus and shift is on, or the other team's focus and shift is on Aiden now, right? And Marcus, because no one is going to leave Marcus alone. You've heard Decker and Manu and everybody else say that Davenport's bull rush is different than anybody else's. It's
right.
It's extremely hard to defend. Z's a strong dude, right? He's not a fast guy. He's not a speed guy. He's 33 years old.
Savvy.
He's not the same guy that he used to be, and I think that that's a big part of it.
Right,
You know?
but he's got smarts. He's got savviness. He's got the vet savviness.
He does. But I think one of the things, without really going into preparing some of this and going and looking at a lot of his stats and some of his numbers, which I'm going to pull up right now. Here's the one thing that I would worry about is, what is this defense trying to do? And I'm not saying that Z doesn't belong on this team. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not saying that there's not a possibility in the future that he wouldn't land on this team. I think all of those doors are open. I think that Z is a great player, and he fits a need for a team that really needs somebody, if that makes sense. But with a team and a new defense, new coaches, what are they trying to do is my question. What are the Lions trying to do schematically? And schematically, what I'm seeing is a team that they want younger, they want speed, they want guys that can close down that edge and set that edge. Z is what I see of right now. He is more of a situational pass rusher. I don't see him being he's not a 3-down guy anymore. I see him as a situational pass rusher. He's exactly what James Houston was for us when we had James Houston, just a guy that would come in to get after the passer. We need guys
a little
that can,
better than James Houston.
Oh, he's way better than James Houston. I mean, I'm just saying same kind of role. We need guys that can play 3 downs, that when you're deep into the weeds and you maybe have lost somebody, that you've got another guy that can step up and fill, those extra snaps. If all he's able to give you is 35-40% of the snaps, and it's high rotation on 3rd down, that may not fit the scheme that Shepard is trying to run with right now. Does that make sense?
No, and I get it. We're trying to create lanes for the linebackers, is what you're.
That's absolutely happening. You can see that. I didn't even touch on that today, but I touched on it the other night, where the lanes for the linebackers are wide open right now, and that's what I think. That's what Shepard is promoting on this defense more than anything else, is utilizing our linebackers to get after the quarterback, slam the box shut. No one's going to run on us, and then next thing you know, we're coming. And you don't know where we're coming from.
Occupy, more or less occupy. Yeah.
I can't remember who said it.
See that. So just hypothetical, right? So if you had to make a choice, and let's say a deal's done, right? Mm-hmm. And he's coming. Mm-hmm. Where? Because you had what? 5 wide receivers, right?
6.
6. Yeah, but 5 that were. There wasn't one on red.
Hold on, I'll pull it up right now.
If there was 6, okay. So where would you release to fit that spot? Is my point.
Who would I release to bring in Z?
Yeah. Would you keep an extra edge, or would you keep the extra receiver?
Well, that's what I got to look at right now. So I've got my prediction on the screen right now. So if I'm looking at offensive side of the football, my 6th wide receiver is Dominic Lovett. So Dominic Lovett would be the first person that I would drop out if I'm going to bring Z back, because we're pretty covered with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, and Isaac Tesla. Tim Patrick is luxury, and he's also needed. Khalif Raymond is absolutely needed because of the fact that he can return punts. at an all-pro
Both
level.
of them are Lions through and through. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think all 5 of those guys are safe, and I think that Dominic Lovett would be the first one out if you dropped an offensive guy to bring Z back, because I don't think you're getting rid of Muhammad. We know that based on what Dan has already been saying. Muhammad's not going anywhere. Hutch isn't going anywhere. And
Hassaneed's not going anywhere.
Who?
Hassaneed.
One more time.
They love him too.
Who?
Hassaneed.
Oh, Hassaneed. No, yeah, he's not. We just drafted him. He's not going anywhere.
Right,
and I'm not saying that we couldn't lose, a draft pick, because that's happened. Just hasn't happened to the Lions. I'm trying to slide this over now so I can get to this whole thing on the screen here.
It's gonna be rough, man. It's moving in the last week of preseason, bro, is gonna be.
All right, so here's my last. Here's my bottom 2. I have Nate Lynn, and I have Keith Cooper. And since Keith Cooper is a rook, if you lose him, he's gone. We still have Josh Paschal on NFI. We still have Mekhi Wingo on PUP. We still have, Lee McNeil on PUP, Malcolm Rodriguez on PUP. So the problem that I see here, the problem that I see here is no matter what we do with my 53 man right now, and you have all of these guys on lists, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 guys on lists that are expected to come back. Now, Khalil Dorsey doesn't need to come back. Morris Norris doesn't need to come back. So then we still have 5 guys on list. How are we going to bring all of them back and add Zadarius Smith?
Right.
That's not possible.
Yeah.
It's not possible. There's no way, unless we suffer a lot of injuries, which is not going to happen, that we can bring him back. I mean, logistically, and I think that's the one thing that fans forget about is logistically, this is a nightmare already.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The last week of preseason is going to be, it's going to be mind-blowing, I think.
Yeah.
Moving into it. We've never had to deal with this.
No, dude, our team is so stacked. It's not even funny, man. Here, let me throw that back up there again. I got to look back at something. Broderick Martin. So I had Broderick Martin making this squad over somebody, and I don't remember who it was. But you could drop out Broderick, and you're going to bring back Aleem, right? That'll happen. Mekhi Wingo. So are you going to drop out Pat O'Connor to bring back Mekhi Wingo? I don't think so, especially if Pat O'Connor's playing well, especially as well as he was playing last year. I don't see that happening. What about Josh Paschal? How's Josh Paschal going to end up back on this team? So I've got 6 linebackers. So you're probably going to lose either Trevor Nowaski or Zach Cunningham. And Zach Cunningham has had an amazing camp. So,
fair.
I mean, if I'm just trying to draw the lines, like who can we drop to bring these guys back? Forget Khalil Dorsey and Morris Norris. Let's just forget those 2 for right now. They don't have to come back. All right, Nick Whiteside, he can be a casualty because we don't necessarily need, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We don't necessarily need 10 DBs, but at the same time, we need 10 DBs.
Right.
But I mean, we've always carried 10. I think one year we carried 11.
They're pretty high. They're pretty high on him too right now. So
yeah, but I mean that's the question that you have to answer in the last week before you go to cuts. Is your 10th DB?
The games are going to be to tell the story.
Yeah. Is this 10th DB as good as your 6th wide receiver? Is Dominic Lovett better than Nick Whiteside? Is Nick Whiteside better than Dominic Lovett? Or Jackson Meeks, and what is their value to the team, right? That's the biggest question of how much you're going to be able to utilize those guys. And so when you start to break it down, it's, well, if all of the wide receivers are healthy, we probably won't ever feed the ball to Dominic Lovett. He might get 10 catches the entire season. But if we do lose somebody or 2 guys for a period of time, well, Dominic Lovett and Jackson Meeks are probably going to be needed. And if those guys are on the practice squad, great. Remember, we have to have 10 guys on the practice squad that have less than 3 years of service. And all of those guys can get snaked outside of the guys that you're able to protect. And I think you can protect 4 I think you can protect 4, and then the vets don't have to sign anywhere. So 6 guys that you bring back on a handshake deal, and they're not going to sign anywhere, and then 4 guys you can protect. So that means 6 of the guys that you put on the practice squad, you could lose at any moment. This is why a lot of fans don't have respect for what Brad Holmes really has to go through. A lot of people don't talk about this stuff. A lot of content creators don't go through this stuff because why? You know, they don't care about it. They just care about what's going on now.
Right. Well,
So you asked me the question, Wick. So what would you do?
Oh, well, I mean, I think he could be a humongous asset, right? So, in my opinion, I think I say you gotta the lowest end of the wide receivers, and I mean, I would be willing to give up the lowest end of 3 for him, in my opinion.
The lowest end of
That's
what?
just me.
What do you mean?
3 for 3. So the lowest end DB, lowest end wide receiver. Any of those 3, lowest end.
Okay.
All right.
So monetarily,
out of those rooms.
all right. So let's take it let's take it one step further. So monetarily, he wanted at least $10 million for the season, and then another $6 million next year. That was his contract. Let's just say he comes back for $8 million. Let's say wax the number in half. I'll play the season for $8 million. Right now, the Lions are $43 million upside down for next year.
Right.
And now you're about to throw somebody, and now you're going to throw somebody $8 million, and you don't need them right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's my whole line of this is, what if there's already a deal done via handshake or however you want to look at it, right? And they're just waiting for the time to bring them. So there's going to be cuts here where I'm like I said, just bringing a Lee McNeil, and Pascal and all of them back. I mean, that's another huge problem that you brought up that I wasn't even thinking about. So, I mean, it's
well, so let's say like
go,
Mekhi Wingo last year was playing pretty well. Now he's missed an entire offseason. So I would say that Mekhi Wingo is a guy right now that, okay, you could probably keep him stashed for the year if you really wanted to, right? You don't have to bring him back. Lee McNeil's obviously coming back. Josh Pascal's obviously coming back. The other guys, Mekhi Wingo, Khalil Dorsey, Morris Norris, they don't have to come back. Miles Frazier is absolutely coming back. So out of the guys that are on the list, let's just say 1, 2, 3. 3 of them are coming back, and now Malcolm Rodriguez is a potential casualty because Grant Stewart's playing out of his mind, and Zach Cunningham's playing really well. Trevor Nowaski would be the only one that I could see you could step down, but this is a really good problem. It's a really good problem, but I'm making the case for both sides, and at the end of the day, I'm saying there's no room for Z because we still have 4 more players to make this roster, and we don't have 4 cuts that are clear. That's hard.
Fair. That is definitely a fair assessment for sure. Now, in that aspect, let's say, do you promote from within or do you give to the unknown? That's you see what I'm saying? So it's, what you're getting throughout the season with Z.
Yeah.
You don't know with some of these others.
So the guys that we don't know, like Dominic Lovett, okay. So if we go with 5 receivers, we're good with that because we've always rolled with 5 for the most part, except the 1 year that J-Mo was down. All right, so we go without Lovett. That made room for a Lee McNeil to come back. All right, then looking down the roster, I only have 3 tight ends right now on my roster, and that's kind of iffy. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I only have 9 offensive linemen. I think we're good there. But then you still have Miles Frazier to come back. Okay, you could probably bump Michael Neese down to the practice squad and bump up Miles Frazier. So that's a 1-for-1. Still no room there. Okay, when we get into the DB room, I'm about as light as you can go there. Okay, we can drop off Nick Whiteside, and now let's bring back Josh Paschal.
All
right, so we can drop off, let's say, Broderick Martin. We'll bring back Mekhi Wingo. And that's really it. Now we're at that spot where is Nate Lynn a better option than Malcolm Rodriguez? I don't know. I don't know yet. Is Nate Lynn a better option than Keith Cooper? You know what I'm saying? So I think that Broderick Martin...
Are they all better options than Z?
Right. So Broderick Martin, Nate Lynn, Keith Cooper, and Dominic Lovett. Those 4 players you keep, and those are the first 4 players that are possibly off your roster. The thing I wouldn't want to see happen is a guy like Keith Cooper get lost, and then someone's going to snake him, dude. Someone's going to snake Keith Cooper as good as he's been playing. He's been kind of quiet the last couple of days, but there's more to him than in the future. It's just how long can you sit idly by with projects, and you can only have so many projects on a team. And I would say that if you really want Keith Cooper, you're going to have to cut Broderick Martin. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But to your point...
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. In that situation, I'm okay with that because I'm going to be honest. I mean, B-Mart ain't really showed much.
No, he hasn't. But he did this week. He really did at the last practice I was at. Or I'm sorry, in the last game, he looked really good in the short stints that he was in. So this week, how does he look? And so I think that here's the biggest thing I could say about this, or probably the most definitive thing I could say about this, and it's what I've been saying the whole time. And maybe you'll come to my side of the line. We'll find out. I said from the very beginning, what I was told is that Z will not be back until after the first week of the regular season. That is the absolute earliest. And these are all the reasons why, Wick. Everything that we're talking about tonight, it's extremely difficult just to get a 53-man roster done and your practice squad. And then you have to worry about the 24 hours after you cut all your guys to even develop a practice squad. And once you have those things set, well, now you have all the guys that you have to bring back in the future. And until they're ready to come back, do you really need Z right now? And I think I just saw somebody in the chat kind of saying the same thing. It was Jack2125 where he says, at this point, just kind of wait until later in the season when an injury creates an opening. Well, hopefully an injury doesn't, but if it does happen, then it would make more sense. Z doesn't have to sign with somebody, and he can pick and choose where he wants to go as long as someone's offering him a contract. And I think that's where Z is at. He's done everything in his football career, like he said. He openly said that. I've done everything that I've wanted to do except win a title. He's ring chasing right now.
Ooh. Right, hey, and actually, what you just said right there is extremely.
It's extremely important.
So,
yes.
So coming back halfway in the season means that you've got fresh legs.
Yep.
And a proven vet.
Yep.
That is moving forward into the playoffs, and it doesn't even have to be halfway, right? What would be the latest? Would it be the trade deadline?
Well, everything you just said was everything you just said, because Z coming back halfway through the season with fresh legs, that's when you need him. That's when you get that second push at the later half after the bye week. Hopefully you haven't suffered any injuries, but let's just say what you have suffered is maybe some guys that you've had on the practice squad. Some guys that you've had playing teams, maybe they're not playing as good as they should have. And now you can say, you know what? We have a reason to drop this guy down to the practice squad or cut him, make some moves, open up a hole, and now we bring him back. We get his body ready for football.
When would be the latest that they could do that?
Okay, so from what I understand, week 18 is when that would... No, wait, I apologize. Z can come back at any time. If the way I understand it, he can come back anytime, even after week 18, as long as you're not with a
he
team.
Come back just strictly for the playoffs?
Yes, he could. And if the way I understand it, so last year we were kind of going through this. We were thinking about this, and if who was it? Calais Campbell, that I think was with the Dolphins last year, and everyone was all up in arms saying, we need to bring in Calais Campbell, right? Well, he was with the Dolphins, I believe, and the Dolphins had an opportunity still to sneak into the playoffs, I think, and they didn't, but they didn't cut Calais Campbell. They didn't cut him, they didn't let him go, and so you have to be off a roster before the regular season ends to be able to join another team if you are a vet.
Right.
He's not signed by a team, so he's a free agent. He can do whatever he wants.
This is an interesting poker chip, actually, if you think about it, even with players that you have on the roster. Because you can be like, look, if you're not putting out, I'm just saying. I mean, you don't have to be here for the playoffs. I'm talking about, like if they're slacking, right? If they're laying off in practice or whatever it is, that players do, and they're laying off or not giving it their all. I mean, you can kind of give them a little nudge and be like, look, man, Z's back here.
So while you were saying that, I'm going to say two things. I just went and looked it up real quick. So free agents can sign during the playoffs, but there's some important nuances. One, who can be signed, and any player not currently under contract with another NFL team is eligible to be signed during the postseason. Teams may also sign players from other teams' practice squads as long as those teams are not still active in the playoffs. So usually when a team loses in the playoffs, you start to see immediate moves, right? You start to see guys exit the team almost within 24 hours. Things are starting to happen. So what's not allowed, obviously there's no trades, and a team cannot sign a player from a practice squad off active playoff teams. So
you can't poach from a playoff team.
Yeah, right. So you used a good term, poker chip. Hey, Z, we're just going to throw this at you, buddy. Here's what we're going to do. Don't sign with anybody. If and when we make the playoffs, we want to be loaded for bear. And we're going to be able to make some room on our squad somehow. Here's what we're going to do. If you don't sign with anyone, we're going to give you an extra $250K just for sitting out every week. So when you sign with us, you're going to get a $3 million signing bonus just right off the get. Right? You sign with us in the postseason, we're going to give you $1 million for every game that you play. So you don't have to play the whole season. You just have to be ready. You know what I mean? You just have to be in game shape. And you could make you could make 6, 7, 8, 9 million, whatever it is. And by the way, if we win each game in the postseason, we'll give you $500,000 to $1 million bonus for every one. So we can pay you that 10, 12 million bucks or whatever you wanted. You're just going to make it all in 4 or 5 games. You know what I mean? That's the poker chip. If I'm a GM, that's the poker I'm playing.
That's a really good poker chip, in my opinion. If that's, I mean, you're putting a lot of weight on saying that that player's not going to sign with anybody, but if he's searching and that's what his goal is as a championship, I mean, what better team to latch to like that? I mean, there's no.
Well, doesn't it make sense though when you think about it, Wick? Doesn't it make sense that? Okay, he loves Detroit. He said that. He wants to play in Detroit because he loves the coaches in the front office. He knows the player in the scheme. He loves everything about it. It wouldn't make sense to go to another team. Now, here's the caveat. If the Lions are not playing well, guess what? You can do whatever the hell you want. You're a free agent.
Right.
So if we're not playing well, then yeah, week 8, week 9, week 10, if we're out, then go sign with whoever you want. And then we don't got to pay you a dime. But that's the risk that you're going to have to take, is that a team is going to want to sign you later if we don't make the playoffs.
Well, and on a personal health note, that's you're taking a half a year off, so that's less wear and tear on your knees and your back and whatever.
Yeah, it keeps them fresh. So
yeah.
I didn't take this conversation this far with anybody else. Like when we've been talking about it, But when I had this conversation with this former executive and I asked him the question pointedly, you know, do you think Z is going to be back or not? Why or why not? I can't remember the exact question, the exact quote that I got. It's written down somewhere. But I asked him basically why or why not. You know, I'm hearing all these rumors that Z is supposed to be coming back, and we've seen the things in the headlines. And he said it doesn't make sense fiscally, and he used some other terms, for a franchise to sign a vet of Z's caliber until after week 1. I get all that. I didn't understand that because I didn't understand how these contracts work. But it made sense. But now that we've just talked all of this out, if my theory is correct, then hell yeah, it makes sense to sit and wait if you're ring chasing. It's a perfect opportunity.
Well, absolutely, and it now you're staggering people coming back too, right? Because
yes,
you've got Aleem McNeil comes back fairly early, right?
No, he's not. He's not going to be back until
or is he like week 8?
I think the first opportunity I think was like first week in November, end of October, and then he released a statement where he said he was done with rehab and now he's training.
Right.
And so that kind of moved him forward like a week to 10 to 14 days, which kind of put him at the 1st of October or maybe the second week of October at the latest. So you could gain a week or two. But to your point, I think you just said week 8, which is, you know, I think our bye week. I would hold him out until after the bye week if we're playing well. And he's not really
right. No, but what I'm saying is you're staggering those returns though. So
yeah. So if Aleem McNeil's not coming back until let's say week 9, well, then you can bring back Josh Paschal, which they will before that. Mekhi Wingo is kind of on that same plan as Aleem McNeil, and so is Rodriguez. They're kind of all within the same week or 2 or 3.
So the bye week. So it would be after the bye week that those 3 would be back.
Roughly, yes.
Roughly.
That's if we need them.
So could you stagger them? Can't you stagger them too?
Yes.
You don't have to bring them back, right? You know, I mean, you could be like, look, man, we're playing good right now. Hang out, stay injured, quotation marks.
Once they're on active pup, once they're on active pup, they, from the way I understand it, they can come back at any point in time after 4 weeks, I believe, is the timetable. They can come back any point in time. And then once you activate their 21-day window, they only have 21 days until they can come back. So obviously the Lions have done really good with that. They've never failed at bringing somebody back. Once they start the clock, they're usually back within 12 days, 14 days, something like that's kind of been the average. I think Ifeatu Melifonwu might have been the only one that was strung out a little bit longer. So I'm looking at some grades right now because I said I was going to do this a moment ago. I was going to bring up the grades for Z for last year.
Mm-hmm.
And here's his grades in Detroit or in Cleveland. In week 9 against the Chargers, he was a 77.8. He had 3 tackles and a sack. That was the last game he played in Cleveland. Overall, I mean, he had a sack, he had a hit, he had a hurry, and he had 3 tackles. The week before that, against Baltimore, he was a 77.2, and he had 9 tackles, no sacks, no hits, no hurries. I'm sorry, he had 9
Which
hurries.
is not, I mean,
he had 9
against Baltimore.
9 hurries. Excuse me, 9 hurries. So it's a pretty good game. 9 hurries and 9
Baltimore,
tackles.
so.
Yeah, that's really good. That's a really good team, right?
Right, really good numbers for against Baltimore.
So then he comes to Detroit a couple weeks later, and his best game was in week 12 against the Colts. Now, we crushed the Colts. That was a shit game. And look, his numbers are going to be off the wall, and they were. They were 88.8 in that game overall, 81.6 in the pass rush. No sacks, right? No sacks, but 5 tackles. It's the Colts, though. It was a shit team.
Now, hold on. Is that the like really like one of the only games that we had kind of everybody minus Aiden?
Well, yeah, Aiden wasn't in the game. Malcolm, I think Malcolm and Aleem and them, they were out by week 15 against the Bills. I think Malcolm went down
Okay.
between this game and week 15, if I remember correctly, or it may have been the Colts game.
Right. Okay. So it was really at the height of everybody kind of starting to gel together.
Hold on.
Basically, with Z coming back or coming here, like everybody kind of meshing together.
Oh yeah. No, when Z joined, the defense was playing really well. So Malcolm Rodriguez was hurt against the Bears on the 28th.
Oof.
All right, so that would have been. I wish they put dates by this, but the Chicago Bears game was the week after the Indianapolis game.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay, so Malcolm was in that game. Now, when Malcolm was out, the next game against Chicago, he had Zadarius had nine tackles, 2 sacks, 1 hit, 6 hurries. So an extremely good game against the Bears, but the Bears suck.
Fair.
Right? Against the Bills, he only had 2 tackles and 2 hurries. Did not have a great game. He's not the type of pass rusher I believe you want against the Bills. He's not somebody that's going to shut down Josh
Malcolm,
Allen.
though, right?
Huh?
But we lost Malcolm.
Yeah, Malcolm's gone. Then Ali McNeil went down in that game against the Bills.
Right. Yeah. So see what I'm saying? That one game was pretty much the only game where all of them were together for the most part, for the whole game.
Yeah. Overall, when you look at his grades, week 14, 15, 16, and 17, he was not above a 64, and he only had 1 sack for those 4 weeks. He had 5 sacks total. He had five hits. He had 36 total pressures in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, not including any of the playoffs.
Man, it seems like that's all we could do last year was pressures, man. For real.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't need sacks to win. Pressures and TFLs is where it's at. And obviously turning the football over. But we're kind of lost in the sauce now. I just wanted to look at some of his stats to say, okay, how much better would Z be than someone else that we already have on the roster? And I don't know that I could answer that without seeing them all play together. I just know this. The Lions have a very difficult roster to manage as it is. And I think that if it's going to make sense, it's the handshake deal that says we'll see you when we need you. And if we're not going to make the playoffs for some reason, obviously you're going to do what you need to do. I don't think Z is going to be playing much longer, man. Like he said, I've accomplished everything that I've wanted to do in this league besides a ring.
So if the Lions got him a ring, you think he'd be done?
He might play one more year. You never know. It could be the same deal. Hey, I'll see you in the playoffs. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be a playoff warrior for you, which teams do that. There's nothing wrong with that. You just got to make the right moves on your roster to make sure it fits.
Right.
But I would say it doesn't fit.
That was a heck of a conversation.
Yeah, it was 35 minutes or whatever it's been. I think it makes sense at the right time. I just don't think right now is the right time. And I think with all the players that we need to get back, unless there's something that we don't know about Josh Pascal or Mekhi Wingo, I think the goal is right now to get them back. Am I saying that Z can't be a better football player than Mekhi Wingo or Josh Pascal? No, I think that Z can be. But I think that when you look at this roster, if Aiden is healthy, if Muhammad is healthy, if Davenport's healthy, and Ahmed Hassanin's healthy, I mean, you can only have 2. You can only have 2 edge rushers on the field at once, right? And then if you've got 2 guys that are in a good rotation behind them, you're in really good shape. So Z would come in for as much money as you have to pay him to get what? 25% of the snaps, maybe. I think if the Lions are smart, though, I'll end it with this. I think if the Lions are smart, Aiden Hutchinson only gets about 85 to 89% of the snaps this year. If they're smart and keep them fresh into the fourth quarter. I think that's the smartest way to play Aiden. And I'm not saying that he can't play an entire game. I just don't think it's smart. I think that you want to keep him off his feet as much as possible, especially later in games. if you've got some good leads, let these guys get some work, man. Put some other guys in, keep him fresh, because the fresher he is, the longer he goes, the higher that motor stays revving into the fourth quarter, and the more dominant he's going to be into the season. So, and
the more fresh you're going to be for moving into the playoffs. And then not only that, you're going to have all the game experience for the young guys moving forward heading into the playoffs. So, I mean, that's a really good plan to be honest. And then, like you said, if you stagger those people coming back, man, and if the Z thing is real, just think of that line.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine that's that's a thought process, bro. Aline McNeil, Davenport, Haskell, Hutch, Z, Tyleek.
Well, I mean, so you just brought up Tyleek, and like Computer Joe said, man, he said 6:45 come and gone. You're still talking. It's been another half an hour. So here's the thing, man. Tyleek is looking great. He's affecting it early. He's got a sack today in practice. I think that we're gonna find out real quick how smart of a pickup that was as soon as we see. I don't know if he's playing this weekend or not, but we're gonna find out real quick just how important he is to this defense the minute week 1 opens up with Aline McNeil down. It was the right move. It was absolutely the right move. But all right, I'm going to run.
I agree.
I'm going to catch up with you soon this weekend. I'll get in touch with you and we'll see what we can't figure out.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. Take care. Have a good night. Thanks, Wick.
Yep, you too.
See ya.
Bye.
3 minutes into 42 minutes. That was Wickster. So that's the only phone call I'm going to take tonight. Actually, I'll give you 2 minutes. If you're going to call in, do it now. So if anyone has a rebuttal to any of that or anything to add to that conversation, let me know in the comments below. Obviously, this is a tough conversation to have with Lions fans right now, but talking it out, I think I did a good job at trying to talk it out here and looking at the situation that we're in. I mean, or the Lions are in, I should say. Very good roster. And you have a lot of guys on lists right now that aren't even back. Oh, we got someone that has a rebuttal. Here we go. Thank you for calling Rockhound Detroit Lions. This is Will. Who's on the line with us?
Hey, Will. It's Honor, U of M Dad. How you doing?
U of M Dad, man. What's happening? Doing good. How are you?
Good. Not much. Guess it's more of a statement than a question is this team better with or without Zadarius Smith to get us that Super Bowl? Bottom line.
Okay, so would he be better? Yes. Would he be better? Yes. The question is, who are you going to lose, though? Because Z is a one-year wonder, and who are you going to lose in place of him? What if Keith Cooper? What if Keith Cooper is, future? What if Nate Lynn is future? What if Zach Cunningham ends up being future and we lose these guys and they go to another team and they end up really being really good? Now, those are third stringers, right? Right now, they're third stringers. What if we lose Dominic Lovett? I mean, as good, or Jackson Meeks, and those guys turn out to be our future at the wide receiver position when we can't afford to pay Jamo or can't afford to pay Amon-Ra? It's hard to answer that question, but I think I understand. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that he's better on this team now as opposed to later?
I think he's better for this team now just because they could use him as a rotational piece, give him rotational depth with the rest of the edges, and that's going to help keep Aiden fresh, give more opportunity for just the whole squad to get additional rest. I'm afraid that it goes later into the season that someone's going to pick him up when we have a chance to be able to sign him into our pocket.
I fully understand that. I do. The good thing is he doesn't have to sign with anyone if he doesn't want to. And you know that. I mean, he's a free agent. So, right. Whatever team comes calling, he can say, nah, I'm good. I don't need to sign with you. He can sit at home the whole season or not. That's totally his decision. When you're talking about the rotation, see, that's my heartburn is the rotation. Because when you look at the history of Aiden Hutchinson's rotation, you're talking a guy that's in like 95% or more of the rotation. So you've got one edge position that's locked down. Well, you have Davenport on the other side, and then you have Muhammad and Hassanin behind him if Aiden's on the other side locking it down, and they're in a rotation. You're splitting up 30% between three guys, 33% each, but it's not going to be like that. It's going to be Davenport for 65% and Ahmed Hassanin and, El Kadim Muhammad probably splitting the balance, right, between Aiden and him. So where does Z fit in that rotation at $1 million a game? That's the difference.
I see it where it gives more Davenport more rotational, some more off time, just because of his whole career. I think he's had 21 sacks, averaging like 3.4 or something like that per year. When Zadarius had, 5 or 6 in a few games that he played.
I get
but
that.
It would also give Davenport at that time to not have so much wear and tear, and all the doubters out there. I'm one of them, that he can maintain a full season, and that's where it really comes in as Zadarius as an insurance policy for Davenport or anybody else, but also being that depth rotational piece. But then it comes down to is who do you cut, which you and Wickster talked about, and I don't think we need to beat that horse anymore.
So when I look at Marcus Davenport, he's had 26 sacks throughout his career, yet he's missed pretty much 2 seasons out of the last 3 seasons. If you go back to 2021, he had 9 sacks, right? 2021, He had 9 sacks on 437 snaps. I haven't done this exercise yet. I'm gonna do it with you right now. 26 sacks divided by 2,457 snaps lifetime. He's averaging a sack on 1% of his snaps. 1% of the time he's averaging a sack. Right? Who else did we want in front of him? Z? Okay, now Marcus Davenport, when he plays at a high level. And Z has 77 sacks. We're going to divide that by 5,832 snaps. How many sacks do you think he's averaging per snap?
No idea.
1.3. So Marcus Davenport is averaging a sack on 1% of his snaps, and Z is only 1.3. So he's 0.3% better for a sack. And see, and I don't care about sacks.
Right.
I care about pressure, and I care about TFLs as a collective. Now, a sack is just a TFL on the quarterback. That's all it is. I care about what Davenport's doing in the run game, and Z is not good in the run game. He's never been really that great in the run game. He's always been more of a pass rusher. His tackling is not that great. I think if Z is healthy this year, or if Davenport's healthy this year, when you look at his numbers, they blow Z's away. As far as his grades in 22, 21, 20, 2019, and 2018, almost all of his PFF grades are in the deep green. And that's the next level before you get into the blue, which is elite. Z is a Christmas tree. Red, orange, yellow, a couple of greens. Nothing really overly elite. Now, he's had a few years where his pass rush was nothing but elite, and that's pretty much the last 7 years of his career. His pass rush has been elite, but everything else has been fairly lackluster. But he is a damn good football player. Absolutely. I'm not saying he's a lackluster football player. He's a damn good football player. I just think at his career right now, where he's at is he's a 30% snap guy on third down. I think that's what he is, personally.
Yeah, he's on the downside of his career, there's no doubt.
Yeah, I think that if you heard the first part, if he's willing to sit out this year and be that poker chip for us, man, now I'm interested in. That's what I'm interested in.
Yep.
But good points, man. I know you're a doubter. That's why you love hanging out in this chat, because we have great conversations here. I love it.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
All right, buddy. You have a good night, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
You heard it, man. The U of M dad. Glad he finally called in. I don't know about Judon. I think Judon's gone too. And Stain Vision. Yeah, Davenport's contract is exactly what Eric and I predicted it would be. Both of us said that contract was going to be heavily production driven. So it's based on sacks. It's based on snaps. It's based on tackle. It's based on everything. It's production. He's getting like vet minimum, and everything else above, that he can earn is based on production. Whereas Z, you're going to end up paying that dude a vet, minimum that is more than what Davenport's contract is. Now, none of it has to be guaranteed after week 1, and that's the caveat of signing Z after week 1. So let me just look at this real quick. Marcus Davenport signed a 1-year deal worth up to is the key, $4.75 million. He got $1.65 million guaranteed. So we're paying the guy, or the Lions are paying the guy, what is that? 80 grand a game, 85 grand a game. Okay, 97 grand a game. That's what he's getting paid on a guarantee. $100,000 is what he's getting paid roughly per game. So that's not a ton of money for a guy that was a former first-round draft pick in 2018 that's this caliber of an athlete. And everything that we've heard out of camp so far is that Davenport is an animal. And we've known that. And if I get it, if he can just stay healthy, I think he's going to change a lot of your minds. And that's what I'm really hoping this year, for many more reasons than just the Lions are winning football games. But I'm hoping that he vindicates who I think he is. And I know what he is as long as he stays healthy. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on this team. Dan would not waste any energy on this guy if he didn't believe in what he could be. I want to do one more, and I'll leave the phone line open while I'm doing this. I want to look up Aiden Hutchinson's sacks to snaps. Aiden Hutchinson's sacks to snaps. Let's see where he's at. Now, Aiden, I love his colors. He's a bit of a Christmas tree, too. His coverage is terrible, even though he's got some interceptions. So let's see. He has 40. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong line. He has 30 sacks and 22-19 in snaps. Oh, wow. Aiden Hutchinson is only averaging 1.36 sacks per snap. 1.36. 1.36. So, what were all those numbers again? I got to write these down. 1.36 for Aiden. Oh, that's really small. $1.36 for Aiden. And $1.32 for Z. Oh, come on. Marcus Davenport is... Oh, here's another good comparison. Hold the phone. 57. 1.05. 1.05. So 1.05. You could round that up to 1.1, but we'll leave it at 1.05. All right? Because it's 1.058. So it's not terrible comparably to Z and Aiden are about the same, right? Aiden and Z are almost identical as far as production. But get this. Marcus Davenport has 26 sacks. Aiden has 30. Aiden has 22-19 in snaps. Davenport only has 240 more. 240 more. So when you look at from a snap count perspective, I know that I just did the math, and those 240 more are the difference. He has 4 more sacks in 240 snaps, which is about a sack a game in those, 240 snaps. There's not a big difference between these guys. They're all elite football players. Marcus just needs to stay on the football field. That's the difference. That's the only difference. And the only reason why it's that much closer is because Aiden got injured all of last year, after 5 weeks. So Aiden's got to stay healthy too. Here's my question to you guys, right? And this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen. But let's just say Aiden misses this whole season again. It's not going to happen. We're knocking on wood over here, right? Got the lucky rabbit's foot somewhere. It's not going to happen. Are you then going to start saying that Aiden is in the same boat as Marcus Davenport? That he can't stay healthy? We should not pay him $40 million a year because he missed 2 whole seasons? Then what? Be fair here. No, you be fair, Thomas. You be fair. If he misses 2 seasons in a row, are you going to start saying, well, he can't stay healthy? You know what be fair. Be fair here. You can't have one without the other, right? You can't say it about one person and then not say it about somebody else. It's unfortunate, but Thomas, which one was not a fair comparison? Which one? I'm doing straight snaps for sacks here, which is, one of the metrics that you look at their efficiency, right? So how many snaps to how many sacks. And Aiden has always had good efficiency. Marcus has had pretty good efficiency too. Yeah, I wouldn't pay him either if he missed 2 seasons in a row. But Aiden's not going to miss any more time, man. He's going to be fine this year. All right, I really got to skate. I need to get some rest. I'm planning on being here in the morning, but we'll see how I feel. It's been a long day. And I'm all talked out, man. Talked a lot tonight. I think we had a really good conversation. Thank you to the callers. That's what I love about this show. And we need to get back to it. I need more callers calling in because you guys, this is your show. And people need to hear your voice. They need to hear your statements. They need to hear your fan, not just me. And that's what it's all about. Ask questions. We'll have a fun debate. We'll have a conversation. We'll go. And it doesn't even have to be a debate. You can say whatever you want. We can just have a conversation. Just bring good questions. It's not about me versus you, right? This is let's get it all out on the table, and because there's many times I'm proved, wrong. There's many times that people have way better ideas than me, but we don't get to hear it all the time, and I want to hear it. I want to hear what you guys are talking about. So call in. Don't be afraid, man. It's just like having a conversation with your brother, man. It's all good. So call in. Don't be afraid. I'll see you guys hopefully in the morning. If not, just look for a post in the post, and then I'll also throw it on Twitter. And I usually do that before 7 a.m. I'm up at 5 a.m., so we'll see how I'm feeling for the day. But you guys have a good night. Thank you for joining the Rockhound Detroit Lions. I didn't ask you before, but please do it now. Like, share, subscribe. The subscribe is the most important thing. Trying to give away tickets. I still got camp jackets to give out. We've got mini helmets to give away. We got all sorts of stuff to do here, but I need you to subscribe to do that. And then liking the stream as soon as you guys jump in. And then here's the biggest thing. The way the giveaways are going to be happening from here on out, once this ends, go to the comment side and put in a hashtag, Go Lions. Put in a hashtag, One Pride. Put in a hashtag, Detroit Lions, something. Tell us where you're watching from. What hashtag your country, hashtag your city. That's how we're going to be doing the giveaway winners. The people that go in and leave comments after the live, and the people that are giving comments on the videos, I don't care if it's a one-liner, a one word, or just a hashtag, the hashtag works the best. So if you're doing a hashtag Go Lions, One Pride, or Detroit Lions, you're first in line to win the giveaways. The bot is I'm doing it backwards. It was the chat that I was doing it before. It's better off of the comments. So if you can do that, we'll make sure that you guys get some good opportunities to win some fun stuff this year. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. If not, we'll see you over the weekend, I'm sure. So you guys take care. Go One Pride, go Detroit Lions. We'll see you in the next one. Adios.